and as a congregant. She was inspired to become a rabbi and later served as our rabbi intern. We're so excited to have her back. It's time to order your 220 Mahjong cards. Small cards are $8, large cards are $9. Please send your check and make payable to CNT to the office attention of Sandy Stolberg. No later than January the 25th. Happy playing. Next Shabbat, November the 29th, we'll be having the Shabbat in the round. Come join us for this beautiful Shabbat service filled with poise and music and great peace after a hectic holiday week. Giving Tuesday is almost here. Join us December the 3rd for a day of Zakah. It started as a day for everyone to give, and it grows into the biggest giving moment in the world. We're thrilled to be part and support Family Promise, our youth education, which will give religious school enrichment. Thank you in advance for being part of something special. Friday, December the 6th at 6:15 p.m., join us for our Tot Shabbat Hanukkah celebration. There is no cost for this program, the project for toddlers through early elementary school children. There will be the traditional service following the Tot Shabbat service. Save the date, Congregation Ner Tamid presents the Justice Michael Cherry Tikkun Olam Community Service Award on January the 26th at 11:30 a.m. This year honoree is Jan Jones Blackhurst. More information in the coming weeks, but in the meantime, mark your calendar for this luncheon. If you're interested in any of the upcoming events, we have the bulletin and everything in the foyer for your perusal. Good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom.
Please join us. Please join us. Hine matov u'manayim, Shabbat gam yahad. 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 Hine matov u'manayim, Shabbat gam yahad.
Good Shabbos, everyone. So by now everyone knows that Cantor had a baby boy. She'll be on maternity leave, and the board voted that I can't sing. But you know what? I didn't need a vote. I knew I couldn't sing. All right, so we are going to have reinforcements pretty much every week. We had the, well, self-named curly cues. All right, so we're delighted to have them. And, you know, when Del was reading announcements, where is Del? Right here. All right, look at him for just a moment. Does he look a little different to you, like maybe Congregant of the Year material? Didn't he look a little different? Standing a little straighter, a little taller? That's right, we're very proud. And I think it's sometime in January. So you look in your bulletin, it'll be there, we'll announce it. And we're very proud of Del. He's really helped out a lot. See what you get for reading announcements? All right. Well, we continue with the candlelighting. Nan, Marilyn, Carolyn, you have that honor. Curlicues, here we go.
Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Adlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. May you have a peaceful day. Shabbat shalom. May you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. L'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. L'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the light of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. L'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
So we take a moment to turn to our neighbor, introduce ourselves, wish them good Shabbos, front, side, back, front.
Here's another curly right there. Do the wave.
All right, we continue on page 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Let us say, Amen. L'chadodi, page 138.
Lechatoti likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechatoti likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechatoti likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechatoti likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise and face the back.
Bo'oi v'shalom ha'teref bala, gam besimcha uvetzala, toch emunei am segula, bo'oi
for the Chatzi Kaddish.
Page 144.
Yikata ve'yikadash shemei rabba ve'amadi vrachirute ve'amlik malhute ve'chayechon uvyomechon uvhayedecho beit Yisrael bagala bagala uvizman kari Veimeru, Amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mevorah, Le'olam Le'ol Me'ol Maya, Yipara, Yipara Ve'yishtaba, Ve'yipar Ve'yiromam Ve'yitnaseh, Ve'yitadar, Ve'yitaleh, Ve'yitalo, Shemei Kedusha, Brehu, Le'lamim Kol Birhata, Ve'shirata, Tushbechata, Ve'nehemata, Damiram Ve'oma, Ve'imeru, Amen.
We remain standing for the Baruch Hu.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruch et Adonai, Hamevorah. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorah, Hamevorah, Le'olam va'ed. Hamevorah, Hamevorah, Le'olam va'ed.
As we turn the page, 149. Together, praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ari Barani.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me, did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. Invite the religious school kids up.
Any other religious school kids?
One way back.
Et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha, ubechol meyotecha, v'chayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom alevavecha, Veshinatam levanecha, vedibarta bam, beshivtecha bevetecha, uvleftecha vateret, uvshafbecha, uvkumecha, uvshartam leotayadecha, vechayu letotafot, beinenecha, Uvtavtam, amezuzo betecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, vasitem ekoni mitzviotai, vitem kedoshim, lelohem, ani, Adonai Elohem, Asher oseitem meretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohem, Adonai Elohem, Emet.
And Emet takes on a whole new meaning now.
157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory.
May the earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcome these oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores. So we're going to sing it through all together one time, and then we're going to split up. You guys will start, and we're going to do a round.
Amoha Baelim Adonai, Mi Chamoha Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tegilot, Osei Pele, Mi page 160. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, le'ashalom. Ve'ha'amidenu, shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu le'shalom. Le'shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu le'shalom. Le'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni Uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash. Shabbat v'yinafash. Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
One more time.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. We rise for tefillah, page 164. Adonai sefatatita ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Vezoher Hasdei Avot ve'imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'nehem, Leman Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer Umoshiach Umagein. Baruch atah Adonai, Agein Avraham Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol. Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiach Avrerach, Mariva Hashem. Mechalkel Hayim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Solech Noflim Berofech Holim, Umatir Asurim, Hayim Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melah, Melech Meimi Tumhaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atad lahayot habo. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol. Atah kadosh v'ashing hakadosh, u'kodeshim b'chol yom, Yehalom ha'atzelah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el ha'akadosh. Please continue silently the prayers through the book and through page 181 of those prayers that are in your heart. And when you're done, please be seated. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imeru Amen. Aseh Shalom Bimromah Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imeru Amen.
371 is our Misha Barak prayer. It's a time when we think of those in our circle of family and friends who are in need of our prayers. Our hearts turn to them. We think also of caregivers who give of themselves to minister to those who are ill, to improve their lives, and to let them know that they are not alone. We think too of those afflicted of the matters of heart and mind and soul, that God embodies them with strength and courage and faith as well. So if you'd like to say the names of people special to you, simply stand and say their names, as many names as you would like. Now we all rise, giving strength and comfort and courage to one another, arm in arm, as we join together in Misha Barak. Well, it's a pleasure to introduce my colleague, our friend, former congregant, Rabbi Cookie Olshine. We're looking forward to having her speak not just now, but tomorrow. So, 8:45 tomorrow, Torah study right there in that, through that door. That is the library. And every Saturday morning we have a wonderful Torah study, and Cookie will be leading that, as well as the minyan right here in the Beit Tefillah immediately thereafter at 9:45. And then at about 11-ish, we're going to learn about the Sanhedrin. And if you don't know what the Sanhedrin is, let me just tell you, it was probably the most important Jewish institutions for hundreds of years. And if you don't know what it is, shame on you. No. Come tomorrow. That's right. Okay, so by way of introducing Cookie, we're going to have our quiz. You ready? Cookie Olshine received a Bachelor's of Business Administration's degree from UCLA, Boston University, or George Washington University. Very good. When she received her law degree, she was 19, 23, or 26. Very 23, you're right. Very good. When she was studying to be a rabbi, she served a student pulpit in California, in Barstow, Temecula, or San Francisco. Temecula, you are correct. All right. Cookie, they really know you. What is this? Did they read the bio beforehand? I can't fool them. All right. She is currently a rabbi in East Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, or Orlando, Florida. West Palm Beach. She is the second female president of the Palm Beach County Board of Rabbis, the third female president of the Palm Beach County Board of Rabbis. She's not the president, or she was the first female president. All right. This one is not on here. True or false, Cookie has won a quiz game show on television. Yes, true. Raise your hand if you think that's true. Oh, well, she was on it. No, she did win it. Didn't you win it? The first, twice. 2 game shows. What were they?
21 and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And did you win both times? She said yes. All right. Not a million, but she won. And if you did not see those shows, you're going to have to wait until they are in reruns. A warm welcome to Cookie Olshine, Rabbi Cookie Olshine.
Hi, everybody. Let's see if I can get this to the height that works for me. We'll find out. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So I'm going to start tonight by just letting you know that I did not pick this topic. This was a request by Rabbi Axelrod. And so over a month ago, that's right. So I want to just start by telling a story. As some of you know, I returned to organized Judaism after being an unaffiliated Jewish person from the age of 12 until about the age of 30. I came back because Rabbi Axelrod came to my rescue when I lost my mother, just 4 months after losing my father. In other words, I had my own personal disaster. My world was shattered. I was broken, and I felt utterly alone. After doing my mom's memorial service, Rabbi Axelrod mentioned in passing that he would be saying my mother's name for the next 4 weeks during the Mortar's Kaddish at services. And services started at 7:30. That first week after my mother died, I was on autopilot, and I did what I always did. I attended the happy hour I had been organizing for young lawyers for years. And that first week, I felt completely empty. It wasn't happy at all. Now, that second week, I decided to step out of my box and left happy hour early and decided to try something new. I showed up at Shabbat services all by myself, and I sat in the very back row, and I cried the entire time. Those services were held back at the old Emerson Synagogue. I cried the entire service. A very kind woman walked up to me after services and talked to me for a grand total of 2 minutes. And at the end of the service, she said, "I'll be back next week, will you?" And those 7 words changed my life. I had somebody to sit with. I had somebody to talk to. And the people that I met here at Congregation Ner Tamid changed my life. So why do I start with this story when Rabbi Axelrod asked me to talk about natural disasters and embracing God's role in them? Because my story is a backdrop for falling back in love with organized Judaism as a result of attending Torah study right here at Congregation Ner Tamid with a wonderful, humble man of blessed memory and so many others, Al Esben. Now, some of you are smiling when I mention Al's name. Al always told us in that ragtag group that he was, quote, just a wig maker, who came to Reform Judaism because his daughters pushed him to read Jewish texts differently, from a liberal perspective, even though he had grown up Orthodox. And one of my very favorite stories about Al was his belief in what I call cause and effect style Jewish theology. Now, to share a story about his theology, he would tell us that he was in an airport one time and he needed to take some pills, so he just took a cup from a restaurant. He actually said he stole the cup, and when he used it, he ended up with a paper cut. He said that paper cut was a message from God saying that he should have paid for that cup. This was Al Esbin's personal cause and effect theology, that when bad things happen to good people, they somehow deserve it. But Al and Rabbi Axelrod and so many of my fellow students who became my teachers here taught me that there are so many different ways we can interpret Jewish texts and traditions, not just one, not just that traditional way of reading texts, as we must have deserved it if something bad happened. Instead, Reform Judaism teaches us that it is our obligation to learn as much as we can about an issue, a text, a tradition, and even a theological viewpoint, and then we are supposed to make our own educated choice about the way we choose to interpret it. In other words, we can move beyond cause and effect theology or punishment theology in trying to understand the role of God in the world when acts of God happen and people's lives are impacted and somehow destroyed. But before we move away from cause and effect theology, we should at least consider it, right? In California recently, we have seen so many fires, yet again, this year after last year's so many fires. In Florida, sometimes we have terrible hurricanes, although thankfully none this past hurricane season. And of course, we mustn't forget earthquakes and lightning strikes and the terrible tsunamis in recent years. All sorts of things that we lawyers like to call acts of God, meaning an accident or event that happens as a result of natural causes without human intervention that could not have been prevented or by reasonable foresight or care. Now, without getting into our responsibility to guard and protect the earth, and without this becoming a sermon on climate change and global warming, let us think about some of those fires in California. Were they really an act of God? Now, last year's fires have been determined now to have been caused by electrical company lines sparking. Yet there were tremendous, unexpected winds that spread them, and the existing drought conditions caused incredible damage as well. So were they an act of God? Now, what if they were caused by lightning strikes? Now, that one seems more like an act of God, doesn't it? Does this change your answer somehow? But let's come back to cause and effect theology. This theology comes from strictly interpreting Torah, meaning Torah says if we don't follow God's laws and God's rules, then we will be punished by plague or by earthquake, the earth literally opening up and swallowing us, or the religious equivalent of a lightning strike. Literally, people get zapped in Torah. But if we look more closely at our sacred texts, God is so much more than a punisher. God plays many roles in Torah. So let's use the ultimate punishment story in Torah as a backdrop. Let's try to hear the story of Noah a little bit differently. Let's try to hear God not just as one who punishes and destroys, but maybe also as God who grieves, God who teaches, God who chooses, God who saves, God who is an architect and a boat engineer, God as one who warns, God who recreates, God as one who regrets, and God who makes a new covenant, God who rebuilds. So let me summarize Noah for a second. And I want you to listen for some of those other roles in the story of Noah, not just the role of punisher, one that we tend to find when we're looking for cause and effect theology. So even though it's not this week's portion, God sees how wicked the people were and how they were always plotting evil, and God regretted that God had made people on earth, and God's heart was saddened. And God said, I have to erase from the earth the people whom I created, people together with every living thing, for I regret that I made them. But Noah found favor with God. In other words, God chose Noah because Noah was righteous and blameless, but not blameless completely. He was blameless in his generation, we're taught. And God decides, that there's going to be a flood that comes. And God tells Noah to make for himself an ark and gives the most specific instructions about how the boat will be built. God as architect and boat engineer. 300 cubits long and 50 cubits wide and 30 cubits high. This will save you and your family. God who saves. I will make a covenant with you, a promise that when you go into that ark with your sons and their wives, and you take the animals with you, you will be saved. And Noah did just as God had commanded. And then the rains come, and only Noah is left, and those with him in the ark. And God speaks to Noah, come out of the ark together with your family and bring all these animals that you have helped me save. God as helper. Bring them out so that they may regenerate and swarm upon the earth. God as recreator and God as builder. And as soon as Noah comes out of the ark, Noah builds an altar to God and offers burnt offerings on that altar. And God smells the pleasing odor and says to God's self, God who is reflective, God who reflects on God's own behavior, God says, never again will I doom the earth because of the people. I make this promise. And the sign of that promise that God makes is the rainbow. Now, having heard this summary, I want to share a piece with you from Genesis Rabbah. Genesis Rabbah is midrash on the text. You see, whenever there were difficulties in the text, people, rabbis of old, sages, would write stories to explain the difficulties found in the text. And so there is a midrash on the flood story, as told by Rabbi Joshua ben Levi, who understood that it is hard for all of us to hear stories of God only being defined as destroyer. And he taught that, once God actually made the decision to start over because of the evil God found on earth, God actually mourned for 7 days. God as mourner before beginning the flooding. Yes, God as mourner. So what I hope we can remember is that God deserves to be defined as so much more than just one who punishes us. In reading our sacred text closely, we can redefine God as one who regrets and one who grieves and one who chooses and one who teaches, one who saves, one who warns, one who makes a new covenant, and one who recreates and rebuilds. Now, in addition to trying to read our text more broadly, I'd also like to ask us to consider another kind of theological approach to understanding what we call acts of God and how we can respond to them. Perhaps considering what we think of as a relatively new paradigm for understanding the role of God in our lives, which is called process theology. Rabbi Toba Spitzer describes process theology by saying, as both Jewish and Christian process theologians have noted, the eternal, unchanging God is most decidedly not the deity that we actually encounter in Torah. From the very first chapters of Genesis, God is portrayed as a being that changes God's mind, gets angry, has regrets, consoles, and berates. And if God learns, then God too changes. And the Torah seems quite clear and quite comfortable on this point. God is awesomely powerful, yes, but it's not static. And the biblical God adapts and changes in response to the needs of the moment. So what is she saying? She's saying that God, just like us, is in process. And she teaches that in place of ultimate coercive power, which is what we have to think of if we think of God only as a punisher, and what we have to think of if we assume we have no free will and are just God's puppets, then process theology suggests that we think of God's power as persuasive power in our lives. In this understanding, God is not only the source of new things, novelty, new creations in the universe, but God is also that which creates order and defines the initial aim, the goals of all God creates. This initial aim, she says, shapes the trajectory of every created being, establishing our limits as well as the end towards which we should become oriented. So if God is in process, God is constantly evolving and changing. How godly then to embrace the ever-changing nature of our very own existence. If chance and contingency are aspects of a godly universe, she says, then we can bless the uncertainties in our own lives rather than bemoaning them. From this viewpoint of understanding that God is always changing, we can find ourselves as partners with God. Imagine, not just cause and effect, but instead we become partners with God. And so when we are partners, we understand that it is our role too, not just God's, to fix this broken earth, to fix our broken communities, and to fix our broken relationships. I want to conclude tonight by sharing one more way that we can understand the role of God when things are absolutely terrible in our lives. Rabbi Laura Geller, who I know you had recently here visiting, she teaches a classic story to help us think about where God is in our world. She says, a young man once came to Menachem Mendel of Kutsk. Rebbe, I can no longer believe in God. I can't believe in God because the world is so filled with pain, suffering, ugliness, and evil. How could there be such a God in this world? Why do you care? Asked the Rebbe. What do you mean, why do I care? How could I not care? Innocent people suffer. The world is ruled by cruel people. Why does God allow it? And again, the Rebbe asked, but why do you care? And the young man screamed out, someone has to care. Someone has to see the pain in this world and cry out. If not, then all the suffering is meaningless. I care because I want a better world, not only for my children, but for all the children. And the Rebbe grew quiet, and he responded, if you care that much, then God exists. You see, God exists in your caring. So if neither of the first two theologies I presented speak to you, I want you to consider as a final theology tonight, perhaps Martin Buber's theology. He teaches a theology called I-it versus I-thou, with respect to how we can understand and embrace God's role when considering disasters in our lives, both big and small. He talks about finding God on a micro level. He teaches us that God is present in this world when we teach people that we should be in I-thou holy relationships rather than I-it or transactional relationships with the people we encounter. My favorite quote from Martin Buber is the following. He said, man can do justice to the relation to God that has been given to him only by actualizing God in the world in accordance with their ability and the measure of each day, daily. The encounter with God does not come to man in order that they may henceforth attend to God, but in order that we may prove God's meaning in the world. In other words, it is our job to actualize God here in our relationships by the way we treat each other, being present for the other, and I would argue especially during the worst times in our lives. It is easy to interact with the world on a surface transactional level, and we create God experiences when we interact with each other as intentional holy beings, when the person right in front of us, who is so easy to dismiss, needs a God experience the most. So actualizing God, this is our responsibility as Jews, in both good times and especially during times of an unexpected disaster, be it global or communal, and yes, times of personal disaster. In the week to come, may each of us think about how we want to create God experiences and how we want to interact with God. Is it enough to simply feel punished when things seem to not go our way? Or can we understand God in terms of even God being in process and needing us to be God's partner with all that requires? Or perhaps, maybe each of us can just consider trying to create one special Martin Buber God experience type moment in the week to come. I showed up at Congregation Ner Tamid, broken and alone, and someone looked me in the eye and told me that I mattered. I had a God moment in the last row on the old Emerson location of Congregation Ner Tamid because someone took 2 minutes out of their busy life to create a holy moment. I dare say I'm not the only person who comes to Congregation Ner Tamid in search of holiness. If you have a moment, look someone in the eye and listen closely, listen desperately, and try to find God. Shabbat Shalom.
I think God led you here. Sometimes God shows you the way.
This is for Jeremy. You will always be a blessing. To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lech on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lech Lech, and I shall make your name great. Lech Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lech to the place that I will show
shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechiah.
We rise for the adoration, 586.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latekenu lalev zebreshit, shalom sanukekaye haratzot, velos hamanu, kimishbechot hadama, shalom samhelkenu kahem, vegar aleinu, kechol hamona, v'anachnu korim, u'tishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech hakol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shema echad.
Please be seated. (596), 598. When cherished ties are broken, and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence, and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now, they live in our hearts, they are an abiding blessing. We say Kaddish for our Ruiz, Murray Rosenthal, Barbara Glomsky, Bert Malinsky, Gary Downs, Shirley Murkow, Jeremy Poster, Sandra Porter, and Rabbi Herschel Brooks. We recall the yortzites of Irene Bachrock, Ethel Biegelman, Arnold Bennett, Pearl Bennett, Viola Bowler, Jackie Box, Bess Butwinick, Jacob Cohen, Bruce Marshall Dunn, Manuel Eisenberg, Harvey Eisenberg, Melvin Eliasberg, Sylvia Eliasberg, Nathan Fisher, Shirley Gellen, Edie Glasser, Abraham Goldberg, Irving Goldstein, Jenny Goldstein, Miriam Gordon, Jack D. Israel, Melvin Johnson, Roz Katz, Judith Kahanko, Julius Kohler, Lillian Liboff, Frida Levine, Harry Levy, Rolla Lieb, Helen Mendelson, Yaffa Moore, Morris Munich, Hania Oderberg, Lena Rakoff, Molly Roman, Minnie Shafran, Frida Shaw, Murray Shaw, Martin Sussin, Terry Tobman, Harold Turk, Sam Weiss, Jesse Wirt, Deborah Yaris, and Michael Zone. If you would like to say the name of someone who is not mentioned for Kaddish or Yortzeit, please stand and say their name. So we think of all these and others. We turn to 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dachol beit Yisrael magalav v'zman kari v'imru amen Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omeil maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekusha b'richu Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechemata, damiram b'yalma v'yamaru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shamaya v'chayim, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamaru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamaru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated. Okay, repeat after me. Rabbi. Have a great time. Well, thank you very much. Now listen, I know how you guys get a little grumpy when, we don't have a clergy person for Friday night. But a year ago, before the cantor decided to go on this journey to have the baby, I planned a trip to go to China. So I will be gone. So I will not be here next Friday. I won't be here the Friday after that. If there is an emergency, my colleagues, Rabbi Mintz and Rabbi Techtel and Rabbi Cohen, they're all there to fill in. You can call Roberta in the office, but we will be having our lay leaders. So please don't complain and get grumpy. We have 2 clergy people. Why is Rabbi gone? Okay? I'm doing my best, and everybody repeat after me. Rabbi, have a great time. Thank you. I'm going to go with that. Just no grumpiness. All right. So I expect everyone to give me $1. I'm going to really make a good killing here tonight. All right. Weren't the curly cues great? All right. I really think you should be the curly Jews, but if you want to be the curly cues, you can be the curly cues. All right, you can be the curly Jews, right? Cookie, Rabbi Olshine, beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you very much. Everyone here, you cannot leave because you're going to be here tomorrow morning for the discussion on Torah and the Sanhedrin, and it should be beautiful. We are going to have a receiving line, but we'll do Kiddush and Motzi here. So please, curly cues, and Rabbi Olshine, please. Who's that? All right, come on. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you make your way through the receiving line, you'll see a beautiful oneg, and feel free. We just said the blessings. One other thing, if you happen to be in the conversion class, if you could do me a favor, I just need to talk to you for 1 minute. So if you could just kind of wait behind, I'm sure there'll be enough goodies remaining, but just I need to talk to you for 1 minute. Our final song is Olam Chesed. Will the congregation please rise as we join together? Olam Chesed.
Olam Hesed Yivareh, Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai. Olam Hesed Yivareh, Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai. And Olam Hesed Yivareh, Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai. Olam Hesed Yivareh, Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai. I will build this world from love. Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai. And you will build this world from love. Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai.
And if we build,
And if we build this world from love, Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai.
then God will build, then
God will build this world from love. Yada Dai Dai Dai, Yada Dai Dai.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.